Let's boost your English skills.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the Boost English podcast. I'm Olivia, delighted to be back behind the mic with you today. How are you doing? Grab your favorite drink, settle into a comfy seat, and let's spend some quality time together. It feels a little strange to be in the studio without my regular co-host, David, who's off on a short break this week. So today, it's just you and me. No guests, no background chatter, just a friendly voice guiding you through an uplifting topic. Our mission is double. First, to boost your English comprehension, and second, to give your mood a noticeable lift. If that sounds like a good deal, stick with me. Outside my window, it's early evening. The sky is turning cotton candy pink, and the neighborhood kids are chasing fireflies. Tiny moments like this can spark joy if we bother to notice them. Speaking of joy, have you smiled yet today? Try it right now. Even a forced grin tricks your brain into releasing feel-good chemicals. Today's subject is 7 tips to increase your happiness. Self-help advice is everywhere, but I promise to keep things practical, realistic, and a bit humorous. By the end, you will have concrete actions to try a new vocabulary to use. Ready? Let's go. Here is tip number 1. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is more than a polite thank you. It is a mindset that reframes your entire day. Each morning, before your phone takes over, write 3 sentences that start with, I'm grateful for. Mine today were the smell of cinnamon toast, the fact my plants are still alive, and noise-canceling headphones when my neighbor's dog sings opera at 6 a.m. What tiny delights could you list? People who keep gratitude journals feel more optimistic and sleep better. Gratitude also activates the prefrontal cortex and releases endorphins, the natural painkillers that make you feel like a superhero after a run, or after successfully untangling earbuds on the first try. Here's tip number 2, move your body. Humans were not designed to spend 10 hours a day shaped like a question mark in front of a screen. Movement pumps oxygen to the brain, wakes up sleepy muscles, and shakes off mental fog. If the gym feels intimidating, start small. During every commercial or video ad, do as many squats as you can. Take a 5-minute dance break to a guilty pleasure song. Mine is Call Me Maybe, and yes, I sing off-key. Movement disrupts monotony and sparks creativity. You can also try walking meetings. On your next casual call, grab headphones and stroll around the block. You will return with fresh perspective and maybe notice that cute cafe you keep driving past. Here is tip number 3. Cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness sounds mystical, but it is simply paying close attention on purpose. Picture yourself sipping tea. Instead of doom scrolling, notice the steam swirling, the cup warming your hands, and the quiet clink of the spoon. A 30-second check-in tells your nervous system that all is well. A starter exercise is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This grounds you faster than refreshing your inbox. Like push-ups strengthen arms, mindfulness strengthens focus. Even washing dishes can become a mini meditation when you feel the warm water and the slippery plates. Here is tip number 4, nurture relationships. Connection is the Wi-Fi of the soul. Without it, everything buffers. Yet we often treat friends like open browser tabs, visible but ignored. Challenge yourself this week to send a voice message instead of a text. Your tone carries warmth that emojis cannot match. Schedule a virtual coffee with someone in another time zone and ask open-ended questions such as, what made you laugh today? Or, what small victory did you have? Deep listening leaves you feeling fulfilled. A Harvard study that tracked graduates for 75 years found that quality relationships, not money or fame, were the top predictor of happiness. So if you need an energy boost, call someone who lifts your spirits. Here is tip number 5. Set incremental goals. Many of us write huge plans like learning another language, mastering guitar, and running a marathon, then binge watch an entire drama season instead. Huge goals can paralyze because the finish line feels galaxies away. Break them into steps so tiny they feel a little silly. Want to write a book? Start with 250 words a day, which is one long paragraph. Celebrate every micro win. Dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, loves progress and nudges you forward like a friendly coach. Track your wins visibly with sticky notes, a habit tracking app, or stars on a calendar. Watching a chain of success grow is oddly addictive, like popping bubble wrap, only healthier. Here is tip number 6. Be altruistic. Giving triggers the same brain regions as chocolate. Acts of kindness, from donating clothes to letting someone merge in traffic, send the message that you have enough to share. That sense of abundance feeds happiness. Volunteering also provides perspective. Your bad day shrinks when you help someone whose bad day is worse. Choose causes that resonate with you. If you love animals, walk shelter dogs. If you care about literacy, read stories to children at the library. Which cause sparks your heart? Here is tip number 7. Limit digital overload. This tip is the hardest, especially for me, a certified meme addict. Digital overload fractures attention, sparks comparison, and drains energy. Try a screen-free Sunday or at least a phone-free breakfast. Replace scrolling with journaling. Write one page of uncensored thoughts. Take up an analog hobby like sketching, knitting, or origami. When you unplug, your brain reboots, creativity flows, and you might finally solve that tricky grammar question. Another idea is to move addictive apps into a hidden folder named Are You Sure? The extra swipe gives impulse control a fighting chance. Before we move on to vocabulary, I want to share a personal story that shows how these tips work together in real life. 2 years ago, I hit what I jokingly call my beige period. Every week felt the same. I woke up, scrolled social media until my coffee went cold, answered emails, scrolled again, and collapsed into bed, wondering why the days slipped through my fingers. I was healthy, employed, and living in a city I once dreamed about, but something felt flat, like a song playing through cheap speakers. One Friday evening, I was waiting for a train that was, as usual, running late. An elderly woman beside me asked what music I was listening to. I told her it was a self-help audiobook on happiness, and I laughed because I obviously wasn't doing a great job applying the advice. She smiled and said, "Sometimes you can't think your way into feeling better. You have to live your way there." That sentence landed harder than any motivational quote I had saved. The next morning, I started a tiny experiment. Before unlocking my phone, I named out loud 3 things I appreciated: the smell of rain, a fresh set of bed sheets, and the fact that the local bakery still knew my order. That took maybe 15 seconds, but my mood ticked up a notch. Encouraged, I put on sneakers and walked to the bakery instead of ordering delivery. The stroll cleared my head, and I noticed murals I had never seen, even though they had probably been there for years. That afternoon, I called my college roommate, whom I had not spoken to in months. We laughed about old inside jokes, and by the end of the call, my cheeks hurt from smiling. The conversation reminded me how much relationships matter and how bad I am at watering them when life gets busy. Over the next week, I repeated this simple trio: gratitude on waking, a short walk after breakfast, and one genuine interaction each day. Nothing huge, nothing social media worthy, just steady, incremental steps. 1 month later, I realized the beige haze had lifted. It did not happen overnight, and it was not magic. It was momentum. Gratitude softened my inner dialogue. Movement gave me energy. Connection gave me perspective. When my phone curfew kicked in at night, I journaled about the tiny wins instead of scrolling. The accumulation of micro moments rewired how I experienced each day. I still have off days. Everyone does. But now I have a toolkit. When I feel the beige creeping back, I run down the tips like a checklist. Have I moved today? Have I thanked anyone or anything? Have I talked to a real human being, not just an avatar? Usually, by the time I reach question 3, the cloud has thinned enough to see sunlight peeking through. If you feel stuck, I invite you to borrow my experiment. It costs nothing and works anywhere a human brain exists. Now let's explore a few challenging words that appeared today. Understanding them will boost your comprehension and confidence. The word gratitude means deep thankfulness for positive things in your life. Endorphins are natural chemicals that reduce pain and create pleasure. Monotony refers to dull sameness that leads to boredom. Mindfulness is the practice of paying full attention to the present moment. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after hardship. Incremental describes small, step-by-step progress. Fulfillment is a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose. Altruistic describes a selfless concern for other people's well-being. Perspective is a particular way of viewing something. Dopamine is the brain chemical linked to reward and motivation. Oxygenate means to supply something with oxygen. Curfew is a set time after which you have agreed not to do something. Abundance means having more than enough of something. Buffering describes the delay when streaming content loads. Opportune refers to a suitable or favorable moment. Try using 2 or 3 of these words in sentences of your own today. Teaching others is an opportune way to remember new vocabulary. That brings us to the end of this episode of Boost English. If these tips brightened your day, please rate the podcast, leave a review, and share the show with someone who could use extra joy and better English skills. David will be back soon with his trademark humor, but until then, you've got me, and I couldn't be happier about it. Remember, happiness grows where attention flows, and your English grows when you keep listening. Keep practicing, stay curious, and take good care of yourself. I'm Olivia, wishing you a week full of gratitude, laughter, and maybe fewer screen hours. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.